there's no such thing as boundary. So it was taught across all types of geographies and dimensions.
Can I stop for just a minute, Evie?
Yeah.
I just want to point out, I decided I'm going to record this part because I can take it, not that I'm going to be sharing it with everybody, but I think what you're seeing can absolutely become part of our putting them into patterns and broadcasting and sharing with the group that way. So that's why I'm recording. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah. Do you need me to restart?
Yeah. So because as soon as you started speaking and got into it, I went, oh, I got to catch this. So
okay. So it's a restructured education system based on cultivation of the best from each person's strengths and life skills. There are no boundaries in terms of geography or spirit and physical. It's equitable, it's free. There's an auto upgrading of content as things need to change. Each person in this kind of environment sees infinite choices ahead, but they intuitively know what path is best for them. There's a lot of joy, creativity, honoring of wisdoms. And the symbol that came to me was a 3-dimensional silver spiral. And there was this incredible sense of wellness. Oh, thank you.
Who are you going to tag, Evie?
I am going to tag Susan.
Have to find me. I had an unusual adventure. I landed in this really beautiful, rich, grassy plain. It was just wide open, but there was something about the green in the grass that was unusual. And all of a sudden, and it must have been sparked by talking about equality, because there were people everywhere, but they were all different colors. There was not one color the same. Everybody had a body, but what you could see was their essence color. Everyone had a different essence color there. They were all telepathically communicating. And the animals came out as I was in this beautiful grassy knoll, and a unicorn came up. And as we were talking, the unicorn's message was, time to rise. We have limitless magic within us. It's our ultimate freedom. It's time to ignite your telepathic skills and bring change back to your world. And so it was about that balance that animals, the dogs and cats had no leashes. Everyone had this ultimate freedom in this essence of telepathic where you could communicate on any level that you choose or chose with whichever animal was in your yard, in your being, in your vision. So kind of this crazy multicolored adventure. The picture they wanted me to bring back was this rainbow, which connects to bringing our telepathic abilities back with us and starting to use them for change here. So the rainbow was my symbol. Aho. I'm going to choose Patty. I know she has to go. So
there you go, Patty. Thanks for being here, Patty. Glad you're here.
Glad to be here. I left my body right away. Bam, took off. So I was just nothing but pure energy. And all I could see were the shimmering 7 rays of the beautiful color, vibrations everywhere. And the symbol I got, well, the words I got was, we are forever. And I can't read my writing. That we are forever, we're always the future. And My symbol was the circle with the infinity sign in the middle. So just to know that we're always going to be here. So we have to use the energies and use our own self.
Beautiful. Thank you, Patty.
Margie?
Well, this is our third trip, and I think each time I'm aware that there's some similarity, but I get different detail each time. This time, what I noticed is there was a sense of energetic lightness in my body and in the bodies of everyone, whether they were human or animal. There was just this lightness in the body that is different from the way my body feels today, by all means. I also noticed that communication was much more energetic. Something like Susan was saying, a lot of the way we communicated was much more telepathic. We were not so dependent on the structure of words as just knowing and reading and understanding each other's energy. I felt this, I think, every time I've gone, this really very deep sense of peaceful harmony. And it permeates the planet, and it comes from the planet, and it comes from the humans, and everything on the planet is radiating this same peaceful harmony, and the value systems on the earth are all made out of this energy of peaceful harmony. I could see that technology was being used at its highest form for the highest good of all. There was an interesting thing when I looked at animals was that nothing had to die for us to have nutrition. There was this level we'd gotten to that meant nothing died. I'm not sure I can explain why, other than that was really clear. All animals lived in harmony. I asked for the symbol, and the symbol I got this time was the symbol of the dove, which represented this lightness, peaceful lightness, and definitely in flight, rising by all means. I am passing.
Thank you,
to
Margie.
Ashley.
I probably spoke over you, Margie, so I don't know that I heard who you tagged.
I was passing to Evie.
Thank you.
I already spoke, so I will pass it on to Arlie.
Hi. This was really a very unusual journey for me. I definitely started out with expectations of where I was going, and I ended up in someplace so completely different. So I took off, and my guides landed me in the middle of a huge forest of crystals, giant crystals, all natural points that were as big as Douglas fir trees. They were just simply huge. And I was the only one there. And I kept looking around expecting to see something, but I didn't. So then I asked for smells, and the smells that I got were basically, and the message was whatever you want: cut grass, pine sap, sea spray, just these comforting earth-based smells, but I'm in this crystal forest. So I started listening, and I heard tones, but it wasn't the pentatonic scale of well-tuned wind chimes, you know, the bong, ding, dong, bong, that's pleasant to hear. It was these tinkly little kind of crappy wind chimes that some people like, that tinkle, 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 tinkle. And I was like, oh my God, I guess this is how I'm meant to know this is real and I'm not making it up because it's not what I would make up. So then I had assumed that I was in a covered dome sort of thing, but then the sun came up and rainbows started moving up these crystals like I was in a power plant. So being in a power plant, and I didn't hear thrumming, although I expected to, just this tinkle tinkle. I asked my guides to take me up so I could see where these crystals were powering. And of course, again, I had an expectation of seeing a city of some kind around this power plant. I didn't. There was no city. This vast, enormous amount of huge crystals that were pulsing energy were on an asteroid that thing that moved through space, that had been placed there by an intelligence, but it could be aimed at places where this energy needed to be directed. It was so beautiful and so unexpected. What else can I say? And it had to do with communication, and it had to do with spreading information, knowledge, energy, thoughts, and it had connection to something much bigger than us that's out there, that's with us. And I'm about to cry, so that's all I'm saying right now. And I would like to pick, oh God. So Sheila, have you spoken?
That was beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so what I saw manifest in the future was a redesign of dwellings, and they're kind of like rectangles, tiny houses, but they're like in around a central big home, kitchen, community room, whatever, and it looks like a sunflower with petals. So you have the circle and then all the houses coming out like rays or petals. And it's basically also growing of the gardens and using human compost and liquid for to have methane and electricity and power. But having all these little tiny houses being part of growing sustainable food for that little community within bigger communities. So we'd have like pods all over, but and then also in this pod unit would also be like elders that were being cared for. So it would be the end of institutionalized elder dumping. So very integrated living systems that work for everyone. And the symbol was, I would use the sunflower with the central, with the petals. That's what it came out to look like.
Right, thank you.
And I will tag Cinda.
Wow, this is pretty amazing. I traveled and I was immediately put in the near future, and I remember even asking, and it said something like even October. And this is so very unlike anything I ever think about, but it looked like a freaking spaceship, black and white drawing, the one that looks like a disc with a hump, black, and it was so close to Earth, and it was hovering over certain locations where we're seeing currently in the media where there's a lot of discrepancy of white privilege and like the men with guns on the courthouse lawns and all that, and so I was watching it, and it was hovering, and it would come down, and no one seemed to see it but me, but it was pulling either people up or energies up or weapons up. I mean, I don't know, but it was pulling. It was just pulling, 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 and then it was, and it'd go a different location and it would pull and pull and pull. And I watched and I thought, wow, really? This is going to happen. But no one seemed to see it. And so I thought, so it was kind of confusing to me because I don't usually think UFO type stuff. And that was really interesting. And I'm all in favor of whatever this is that it's pulling up to pull it up. That sounds great. It's sort of like weeding. But then I just all of a sudden went, whew, and everything shifted. And I saw pockets of women, groups of women, groups of women, and they were sitting in circle. And there was one woman in the middle and another circle outside that, and another circle outside that, and they were all supporting the woman in the middle. And there was groups of them all around the world, and they were all supporting the woman in the middle, supporting the woman in the middle, supporting the woman in the middle. And I thought, well, what are they supporting? And that woman had, she was either the wise one or she had a concept or an idea, and all these women were coming in to support her. It seemed almost like an undercover secret way to financially support women, and all done under the radar of big business. So they had no idea that this was going on. And yet these women, these cultures, these villages, these cities were thriving because of it. And big business couldn't make, they didn't know what's going on. Why don't you need me? Why don't you need my product? Because whatever this was, the women were taking care of it and doing it for themselves and for each other, for themselves and for each other, for themselves and each other. I mean, it was everywhere. And they didn't need any of what we are so used to. And so the symbol that I brought back was the consecutive circles, you know, the pebble in the pond. And so that's my symbol. I don't know, it was beautiful. So I choose, who else? Who hasn't gone? Sheila.
Thank you. Hi, Cinda. Well, you guys are rubbing off on me. It's the first time I was transported. But boy, it was a strange scene. All I remember is it was very crystal clear, vibrant and beautiful, great joy. It was definitely in the future, and it was a little bit like the last Mimsy in the future, where they were up in a meadow and the kids dissipated from their classroom after the story was told, if any of you saw that movie. There was travel going on, like the Jetson travel, you know, small air. But all I remember is the feeling of great joy, beauty, clarity, vibrant, powerful energy. And the symbol that came back with me was a beautiful frog. Okay, Sharon, I think you're next. Are you the last one?
Nope, but I'll be the next.
Okay.
I don't think I'm the last. Where I was taken wasn't that far into the future. It was a little bit in the future, but it was enough in the future that I was there with some friends of mine who are African American and all women, and we're all concerned. You know, we've all had conversations about this divisiveness that's being caused in the name of trying to heal, and so we were in the future, and we were celebrating the fact that we had completed contracts we had made eons ago. And we were crying and we were hugging and recognizing that eons ago we made contracts that caused us to have separate paths. And in those separate paths, our skin's colored and our experiences were different. and some were in more danger than others at different times, all because we needed to find a way to keep ourselves, our families, and the planet safe and restored to its divine nature. And we realized that we had done that. And so we were celebrating that. And then I said, what do we need to do? What's the code to take back to this present moment? And I could see us going back, holding a space of that completion and of that unity as those who in pain came. And it's like we were able to put them in this pool of water that held the truth. So they could be in the pool of water, and that water transforming, dissolving the pain, the trauma, the genetic stories, and that, and until there was that elimination of the pain, because the pain came from a choice we needed to make to find answers. And the words were, you cannot move forward. You've got to keep holding this space as individuals and then groups kind of come to the pool. It's like you're not going to take 3 or 4 and march forward. You got to stand and hold that space so that it can be all of them, all of our sisters, all of those that they love are out of danger, are out of entrapment. And so that then we can move together. And so that was what I got. And the symbol I got was the same one I had last week, which was the pocket watch. And they said it doesn't matter if the pocket watch looks like it's stopped because you're holding space. It's not really stopped. It's still doing what it needs to do. But your actions have to include this presence of stopping while this healing and elimination of the old costumes occur. So that's what I got. And I'm going to tag Lorraine. I don't think you've spoken, Lorraine.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. So I asked and they said 5 years. It seems a bit ambitious to me that it was only 5 years, but if I keep working in the way I've been working, hopefully that will manifest. It was, where I went was a beautiful garden space with, there were structures, but they were like glass or crystal. So there was separation, but not, it was only the illusion of separation. And it was very much like the movie Avatar, where there was absolute collaboration between plants, animals, the humanoid life, all working together. And there were other dimensional beings, devic beings, so fairies and the like, all working together and teaching, and very much a telepathic kind of communication as well. And there was working with plant medicine, but it wasn't in the sense of destruction of the plant in order to extract the medicine. The plants were teaching how to take the energetic. They were giving the energetic, and the humans were resonating in training to the energetic of the plant medicine. So I found myself in a teaching as one of the teachers. And so it was very joyful. It was so lovely. And I know how to do this now. I mean, it was kind of like a light bulb. It's kind of like, oh yeah, you could do that. So My symbol was the sign of infinity, that we're all united, we're all one. It's just an energetic world. So that was my vision.
Wow, I'm really glad I recorded it. I want to point out that, what Arlie, what you brought to our awareness is something I suggest we really all tune into. There are so many vibrational systems when we think of the trees and the water and the plants and all of that does broadcast. But here's something we are made aware of because Arlie was on the call today. And this asteroid, we might want to check into that and tune in and see where, because it has an intelligence too. So how does it want to play with you in your work? So
Yeah, and I
capture
did
that.
not have the feeling that this was far in the future, although I also didn't have the feeling it was here right now. This could be now.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. And it could be already there, letting us know we can use it. We just need to be aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Really good. So as we get ready to close, I want to ask you the question. You might want to sit with it and bring it with you next week, but tune in through the week. How can we as a group expand our work, be more powerful in our work, let's just say that that broadcasting foundations for the world in reflection of the divine, and I'm using my words, you can use yours, has expanded and anchored more deeply, attracted those who are prepared for that work, and we appreciate being part of that project or that process. So let's just say it is, and then just be aware of any thoughts or ideas that come to you that you could bring with you next week to see, maybe there's people that might be interested. Definitely next week we'll have a discussion of, do we want to meet monthly? A lot of circles I'm hosting meet monthly. Some meet more than once a month, but let's discuss what we think we might want to do moving forward with our work. So is it open up? I'm going to unmute everybody, and so if there's anything anybody wants to say as we go along, it looks like I have to. Some of you, you might have to unmute yourself. There, I got you all.
So Sharon, I just wanted to invite anyone who wants to participate. I'm doing a 5-day-a-week on YouTube meditation. It's usually no more than 15 minutes of it truly is weaving a new earth, building the new golden age crystalline structure of a new earth. So if anyone wants to participate in that, check it out on YouTube. The channel is Starseed Living. Starseed Living.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine. Anyone else? Because we can, we have in our community, we have Sacred Ground Academy, in which we also share a lot of things. And so, connections to, for example, and we can talk, Lorraine, because I know we're going to. So if there's things that anybody's doing, we can use our platforms in any way to help spread that word additionally. Anybody else have some things they want to put out as? Okay. I'm going to be teaching the women's Restoring the Truth of Women's Roots class on beginning May 11th. So if you go to my Facebook page, which is under my name, or A Mystic's View, you'll get details. It's going to be a fun class, powerful class. And any resources, anything like that that comes to mind during the month, of the week, keep track, and let's start developing a resource page that we can have, not just for us, but just for others too. Okay. Okay, much love to all of you.
Mm.
Good work. Thank you guys for being a part, and we'll see you next Monday. Bye.
Bye.
Right. Bye.